Yo, what's up, guys? Oh, it's was it 11:34? So I'm a couple minutes late. Not too bad. But tonight we did the opening and unboxing of the Primarch of the Space Wolves from JOYTOY. I think it was Saturday we did it, and then we had the just like how I'm doing my collection of the chapters that I'm not collecting, just the Primarch, and then I'm getting two of the adorning figures that I like, right? And then what's happening is I'm getting the Primarch. I'm really liking him. So for instance, like Russ, and then I'm like, oh man, I really like these figures. So now, oh, let me turn off one of the extra music. There we go. So now I'm like, now I really like, I'm starting to like the Space Wolves. Just go figure, as a Grey Knights fan, you know, probably not the best choice of chapters to like. So, yeah. So we're gonna open up the additional figures that I showed on Saturday night, and then now I'm looking at other Space Wolves from not the 40k Space Wolves, because I still have a vendetta against them as a Grey Knight fan, but I've convinced myself it's okay to like the Horus Heresy Space Wolves. So, yeah, that's what we're going to open tonight. We're going to open up those two. And then at the end of the opening, we'll swing back, and I want to show you what I'm looking at getting for the Space Wolves, as well as a custom head. And then if we get Lone in here too, I'll show him the Magnus head that I picked up from CoolToysClub, or WOG Toys now. And I can show him exactly which one I was talking about in the last stream, which is the monster humongous head from Magnus. So anyway, give me a minute. We're going to jump over to the review stand. We'll go over. Oh, quickly, I want to say hi to the chat. What's going on? I know we got Spark in here. What's going on, Spark? And we got Cyber Rat. What's going on, dude? Hoping to get a bodyguard from Amazon. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to open up my rest of my Space Wolves tonight. And then, so let me switch to live chat for some reason. So Cyber, you picked up Kaldor Dragor. So cool. So let me ask you a question. Did you open him up yet? And so if you opened him up, let me know if the joints on your Kaldor Dragor are a bit loose. Because on mine, they're not terrible, but they definitely could be tighter. So if you got a Kaldor Dragor, and I think you ordered him from Amazon, is that right? So if you got Kaldor Dragor from Amazon and his joints are nice and tight, maybe I'll do the same thing. Maybe I'll pick up another Kaldor Dragor, and I'll do the same thing. So, yes. Locked? It's not locked. Alright, so anyway, I want to get 3 specific Grey Knights. Which 3 do you want to get? You want to get Kaldor Dragor, you want to get Castellan Garen Crow, and then who is the third one that you want to get? Is there a specific one, or do you want the Librarian? Shoot, Aldrich. I think that's his name, Aldrich. Pretty sure. So, or unless you want the ultimate Grey Knight figure, me. All right, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna jump over to the review stand. It's all set up. Let me just turn on the lights. Give me a minute, and I will be right back. Alright guys, we're back. We're over at the review stand. So I saw what you said, Spark. So you're gonna get the one with the hammer and Terminator armor, the one with the spear ×2, and the Grey Knight with the sword and Terminator. Those are really good figures. Those, even though the Terminators, by today's standards, those are a little bit smaller. They're not as bad as the first edition release ones, like the one I call Vampire Ken. Those ones are really short and stubby. The Grey Knight ones are not like that. They're not as short and stubby as that. But I really like all those Terminators that you listed. The one with the hammer is funny because that one is the one that comes with the Nemesis Dread Knight. So I have like an extra 2 of those. But yeah, I really like the choice you got there. So all right, so we got the well, let me move chat over here so I can see it a little bit easier. There we go. So we got our Spacefuls here to open up tonight. So only 2, right? This will be a quick unboxing. But we got Russ watching over his sons, waiting for his sons to be opened up and part of his Legion. I will say I'm thinking of picking up a couple more of the of these figures. Only ones with helms, except for I think Gregor. He actually has a helm on Cool Toys Club, which I can pick up. So I'm thinking of doing that. I'm thinking of getting Gregor. I'm thinking of getting all the Deathsworn packs, because these are actually, if they're really good figures and they're nice tight joints, their coloring is perfect. Like it's like this matte black with that nice grayish blue of the Grey Knights, or it's a matte black and a dark gray on their chest, and then the Praetor looks awesome. So I'm going to seek out any of the Space Wolves from the 30k line, and I'll pick up those that have helms. So let's get to it. I'm really interested. I've been wanting to open up this Deathsworn. Praetor is cool too, but I really want to open up this Deathsworn. I've been waiting to pick him up and open him up. So actually my question to you guys is, do you guys have any of the Deathsworn? Any of these figures? Or is this the first time you're seeing this figure unopened? Unboxed rather. Unopened. So, as usual, nice, great JOYTOY packaging. We're going to get the same clamshell. And his head is loose. Hopefully that is not signifying anything broken. Hopefully not. Because I haven't had anything broken. Knock on wood. So I've had pretty good luck with that. But everything looks to be intact. We get the nice clamshell there. It's always nice opening them up. And then we get the Deathsworn. So again, I want to pull him out and we're going to see his head pop off. So let's see, moment of truth here. Yeah, it's just off the head, off the peg. And that's not a problem. Right, no broken. Nothing broken. Nope. Now hopefully this is not sculpted incorrectly and that's why it's popping off. Not at all. Nope. Wow, this is a cool figure. I want to compare him size-wise because he's a little bit smaller. I want to size him up to the intercessors, and I want to see how big he is compared to the intercessors. Wow, they put a lot of different coloring on this figure. Oh man, I really like the blue to black, like a matte black or almost like a dark gray on his armor. Oh, this really works. This is really nice. And he's got all the different accoutrements of the Space Wolves, which are like essentially the Norse Viking chapter of the Space Marines. But he's looking cool. Oh man, yeah, very cool. You can see very much a unique sculpt with him too. I don't remember any other JOYTOY figures with this type of armor on them. Very cool. I really like the Deathsworn, man. I think I'm gonna pick up all of these. I think I am. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'll have Russ with all of the Deathsworn and the Praetor, and maybe we'll get that Gregor figure, especially if I'm gonna if I can pick up that alternate head. So, and we got the little symbol. I don't know what that signifies. Hopefully there's either some Space Wolf fans watching this after the fact and tell me what these symbols signify, or somebody in the chat now. And then he's got the skull on his other kneecap. And then he's got some crack grenades or some stun grenades here. No meltas. There's actually one figure coming out soon, I think, that comes with a melta. And if you're a Space Marine 2 player, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you've probably killed yourself with the melta bomb, just like I have last night multiple times when I was fighting the the last boss. Oh man, I forgot his name now. But the boss in exfiltration. So yeah, I've killed myself a bunch of times last night playing the modded version of it. Which, by the way, You gotta check it out. It's the modded. If you have a PC and you're not trying or playing the modded version, you are missing out. So moving up through the rest of his armor, these are... No, they're not, actually. I thought that they were, like, stuck on. They're not completely stuck on, they're just attached. So these little pieces of faux leather are on here. He's got another little jewel, and he's got a tooth, and he's got a centered piece of his jewel, and then he's got the 30k or the Horus Heresy Space Wolf symbol. And then on his shoulder, he's got another symbol that actually is kind of funny. That looks like I have a Celtic tattoo, and this looks like a little bit like Celtic writing. That's pretty funny. And then he's got, I'm gonna guess that symbolizes the Deathsworn. This skull on his knees as well as his head. But the head sculpt is awesome. Look at those red eyes, dude. Very cool. That's the one thing I want to take a little look at with the other Deathsworn, see how different the other helms are. I'm like 99% sure I'm going to pick up all the Deathsworn. I think there's 5. I think, do me a favor, check in the, if somebody in the chat can check really quick and let me know. I think there's 5 other figures of the Deathsworn, or there's 5 total. But I'm definitely going to put in an order to LT Cave after this, and I'll pick up the other Deathsworn. So I'll have all of these with Russ. I think that's going to look awesome. So he's cool, and no problems, nice tight joints. So, and then he's got the straps for the shoulder, for his shoulders, that he just go over that little piece on the inside there. So it's going to be free movement for shoulder pads. I know some of the newer figures have a different setup for their shoulders. This has, I think this is the first release for the Horus Heresy. But the one nice thing about all of these figures that I have with these, some of the Sons of Horus figures, and I'll grab one of them right now, just for a quick size comparison. They're a bit looser on some of the joints. Who do we have? Who do we have? I really got to move all these figures out of here behind me to my garage area. So once I finish putting up this shed in my backyard, then I'm going to move over to finishing up or working on that. So we got one of the Sons of Horus figures. Size-wise, he's actually a little bit shorter. Not too much, but he is definitely a little bit shorter. That's interesting. I want to now, you know what I want to do? Let me move this out of the way. I want to really quickly size him up to one of the intercessors. One of the first run intercessors. Let me see. Here we go. This is my trusty go-to. This is the Raven Guard intercessor. This is the second run of the intercessors. Wow, actually, that's not too bad size comparison wise. Very cool. So he's actually pretty, these aren't that much bigger. And again, from the way I look at my first run figures for JOYTOY, these ones, we're going to say these are the firstborn figures. And obviously these are firstborn also. So they're pretty close as far as size comparison. But I really like this Deathsworn figure, dude. I think I can get them for only like 20 bucks a piece on LT Cave. I'll have to look. I think I can get like the whole set for like under 100 bucks. So, but yeah, there we go with the Sons of Horus figure. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the really loose joints, but some of the figures, some of the larger figures, like the Praetor one, has the looser joints with some of these ones. But it's nice that this Deathsworn does not have that problem whatsoever. So that's pretty cool. All right. So while we're doing this, let me look quickly at the chat. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Where was I left off at? I want to get 3 specific green ants. We're talking about that before. He seems a bit loose. I would agree with your statement. Yeah. Okay, so the Caldor Drager is still loose. That's that particular run. And it's really the first run. What's funny about Caldor Drager figure is the other Terminators are not as loose as him. He is actually a lot more loose than the standard Terminator figure, which is weird because if I'm remembering right, Castellan Garen Crow and the Terminators came out first. So yeah, so that's a little bit weird. Let's move the chat here really quickly. There we go. All right. Let's see. Those are far too expensive. Okay, cool. So it's the first time you're seeing one of the Deathsworn unboxed. Cool. You killed yourself with the Melta. I killed myself a lot. There's Lone. Lone, I got something for you, dude. We'll show you in a second. I got the I got Magnus's head that I picked up, so you'll be able to see how big it is. I'm not going to throw it on Magnus because I think we'll do Magnus in like a week or two. And his two figures that I picked up for the Thousand Suns. So yeah, I'll likely get Gregor. I'm gonna pick up Gregor, yeah. And however, to go with Russ. I already have two 40k intercessors. Cool. Ali Blurry at the. All right. There we go. Here we go. So, this one figure, awesome. I definitely am going to pick up all the extra ones. Let's take a look at what he comes with. And he comes with his obligatory tons of hands. Right? And we got the power pack. Pretty standard, nothing crazy here. Right? Other than the Deathsworn. I'm going to guess that's a Deathsworn skull. But what's funny is they actually have their two exhausts from their power pack shooting out the sides. Normally it's a little bit of a different design, especially on the 40k figures where you have these movable exhausts on the power pack. So that's cool. So let's see, moment of truth here. These seem kind of thin, but let's see if there's any problem with this going in. Nope. Nice, and nice and tight too. Very cool. Nice power pack on him. Alright, so what do we got for weapons? So he's got this... Oh, actually, this is a really cool axe. So he's got this really cool Space Wolf axe. Let me move the figure out of the way. So he's got this really cool Space Wolf axe. Very nice. I like the gold color on it. They did a really good job on the paint. And I know I'm going to get crap for this from some of the miniature figure lovers, but these are larger type of things. Can you imagine how much paint is required to put on this compared to like a miniature sized axe for the Deathsworn? But this is cool. I really like this, and it's very solid. No problem. This little looks like a rabbit foot on the bottom of his axe is movable, so it's a little bit articulated. Very cool. So that's his power axe, and then he comes with his bolter pistol, and he's got that nice ruby gem, which I guess signifies the Space Wolves. Let's see if this magazine comes out, and it does. Cool. Very cool. Some of the very first early figures actually had a bolter round sculpted on there, so I would like to see that come back if that's possible. But yeah, very cool. Very nice. And then I don't know what the hell this is supposed to signify. Is this what they drink? I don't know what this is. I do not. If somebody in the chat knows what this is, let me know, because I do not know what this is. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's a cool figure. I'm definitely going to pick up the rest of all of these, and you can get them for a pretty good price. They're pretty cheap, and these are solid figures. These are really good. So if you want to do a quick army build, you can get a bunch of these Deathsworn for a nice price, and they're really good figures, dude. They're really good. Any of the Horus Heresy figures are awesome. The only ones that I had a problem with, like I said, are some of the very early larger scale figures. Like, for instance, some of the Praetors of the Sons of Horus. Those are a little bit... I had some problems with some of the joints on them. Just a little bit looseness, nothing crazy. But these Deathsworn are awesome, dude. Very cool. I'm definitely going to pick up the rest of them, so... Alright, we're going to move on next to the Praetor. Or actually, before we move on to the Praetor, I want to quickly show, because we've got Lone in here, I want to quickly show Lone the helm, or the head, which is going to be a part of the Sun, or the Thousand Suns line. Look at this thing, dude. Look at how gold that is. So that's the one I picked up. And this is going to look absolutely insane on Magnus, and I picked it up specifically because Magnus is definitely my least favorite of all the Primarchs that I've gotten so far. But I wanted to get some kind of a crazy helm for him, and this just fits totally with the whole. I don't even know where the eyes on this thing are supposed to be, but this almost looks like he's already taken over by he's a patron of Zeech, so this looks cool. I'm very happy with this one. And then if you want to take a look at size of the figure, look at how big this head is compared to one of the Deathsworn. It's literally like half the size of the figure. So if you're going to get a helm loan for Magnus, I would definitely recommend this one. This is one of their first releases, and it's got the neck peg in there and everything, so you don't have to worry about any kind of putty. And Cool Toys Club has their new website, WOG Toys, which has all of their custom pieces, which I highly recommend on their website. So that is the helm, which we'll be doing in a couple weeks with Magnus, so that's pretty cool. All right, so let's check out our next figure. We got the Praetor. So this one's awesome because he comes with a nice shield, and as you know, I play, or maybe you don't know, but I play a Bulwark / Blade Guard if you're using the Astartes 2 mod in Space Marine 2, and I am a sucker for shields. So this looks wow. All right, we already got a problem because he's got his unhelmeted head on, so we're gonna have to change that in a second. But he looks awesome. Again, we get our obligatory stand, and he is looking pretty cool. He is exactly the same color as Russ, 100% the same color scheme. So this is going to work out good. I think I'm going to get, like I said, I think I'm going to get Gregor. I'll order him after we finish this this review. I'll jump over to the other screen and we'll do that one. But he's looking very cool. All right, so let's pull him out. Oh, there's his shield. Oh, very nice. So wow, he is totally a Viking. Wow, totally a Viking. Again, his shoulder looks a little bit loose, but it's not really. There's so much weight because of this wolf head that's on there. And then again, these cloaks, thank God they did this. You know what? I actually really appreciate this because on, was it Castellan Garen Crow, he has a cloak and his power pack attaches to it, and it's not clipped into the shoulders like this is, or attached to the figure. And anybody with that figure knows the problem with that cloak and that power pack, where it's a bit loose connecting to it, and that power pack is the only thing holding that cloak in, and so you get some problems with that figure. Now they're reissuing it, and I'm hoping we get some either. They're not going to do something like this with the cloak, but I'm hoping that maybe the peg holes are a little bit thicker or not as wide as really is what it comes down to, so we get a bit more grip on that power pack, so we don't have his cloak essentially kind of falling off all the time. But this is cool. We get some nice shading on the inside of the cloak. Next to the red on the back, we get that grayish white fur from the wolf. Look at the size of the wolf head that's on there. Damn. I know that JOYTOY came out with wolves in the first or second run of the figures, but they haven't come out with any wolves for the Space Wolves to ride on since that time, or any of their 30k figures. So again, nice and tight joints, no problem. We get nice feet, no problems. We get the toe articulation there. You can go out a little bit far. That's about as far out you're going to get the figure's legs. And he's got the faux fur piece on here. This is nice, nicely painted. And no problems, man. No problems whatsoever. These are sculpted. Are these sculpted? These are just attached, or look like they're glued onto his front chest plate. And then we get this. This looks like one of the Space Wolves insignias from the 40k line. But yeah. And that's actually a pretty nice helm. I mean, it's a pretty nice head sculpt. But too bad I don't like my guys not wearing their helms. So we're going to get this out of here. Right now, he's a headless Space Wolf until we swing it over. Let's actually, you know what? Let me get his head, because it's going to look weird if I just have a headless dude standing on the display. Imagine somebody comes in, they're like watching, they're going to be like, why does this guy have no head? So here we go. This is one of the reasons why I bought this figure, was because he has a Space Wolf with a helmeted head, and it goes on with no problem. Very nice. Very cool. I actually like this. I like the Romanesque look to the front of the helm. I love that slat right there on the front. Looks very much like a blade guard. Very cool. And the crimson red eyes for his helm. Very nice. Very cool. Alright, so we're going to start looking at some of his accessories quick. And first thing is going to be his shield. So this is cool. This has got the leather strap over the front of the shield. And it's got three... Was that two? No, it's got 3 Space Wolves on there. Now, how does this go on? This is a bit of a different design for the shield. I'm going to guess there must be some piece. Here it is. Okay, so this is how it's going to go on. So I'm going to guess this... Does this piece go off? This piece has got to come off. I would assume. Oh, this is not going to want to come off. Alright, I'm going to break it if I try it, but this looks like it would fit into the peg there, and then he would just hold it. So, yeah, that's a little weird. I guess it just goes... Oh, I know why it is. Here we go. Here's his power pack. So this is not... This is unlike some of the other power packs with the symbols or the flags above their head. Normally these are 2 pieces where you'll have it rotate out from the front. But yeah, this is just 1 piece. And then here, this is the reason why it has this piece on it. It's because this is just going to fit on here. And this I appreciate. I do enjoy that they actually have... Because he comes with 2 weapons. He comes with a bolter pistol, which we'll see in a second, and this humongous Space Wolf axe. So he has no place to hold his shield, so he'll just throw it on his back. Just like Russ does. Pretty cool. Alright, so moment of truth. Let's see how nice and tight this is. Again, smaller peg, just like the Deathsworn, but Deathsworn did not have a loose power pack. So let's see. Now we're going to take that off. So, tiny bit loose. Not too bad, though. He is a very impressive looking figure. Very nice. We'll throw the shield on here. Very cool. Oh, that's a nice look. That looks pretty cool. Unless, actually, is it supposed to go down more? Let me look at the box really quick. I think it's supposed to go... Yeah, it's supposed to go down more. I'm an idiot. There we go. It's supposed to go like this. There we go. So it actually looks like it's on his back like Captain America. Very nice. Very nice. Alright, so Praetor. We got his monster-sized power axe. Very cool. Then we're looking at... I know size comparison. I know size doesn't mean everything, but... There we go with the Deathsworn figure. Very nice. Humongous power axe. Very cool. Alright, I've left the chat alone long enough. Let me see what you crazy loons are doing in here. So... I just ordered my first fig from Cool Toys Club. You better have used the affiliate link, loan, or I'm gonna smack you. Just kidding. It was Valdor. Got him for 100. Cool. I think he might be in the country. Very cool. So you guys are getting your Caldor Dragors. Very nice. I reordered that Castellan Garen Crow, so we'll have that one. Took about a week from ordering to clearing customs for what it's worth. Also, what's up? What's with the no shipping they talk about on CTC? I definitely pay for shipping. Am I reading it wrong? No. So what they do is they lowered the price on the figures, and I think if you spend $100, you get the free shipping or something like that, or you get the free shipping, but you're paying for the customs. So they lower the price on the figure, and then you pay for the customs. If you look at I think that's their tax or their shipping tax is how they get around the customs. They call it shipping tax. I believe that's what it is. He's with the Green Lanterns Corps. Which one are you talking about? Alfarius for me is also up in the air right now. He should arrive sometime this week, I would think. Yeah, dude, that helm, like I said, the helm for Magnus this is a crazy looking helm. This is probably one of the biggest reasons why I picked him up. Plus, I have to pick up all of the Primarchs, but definitely this was once I saw this, I was like, yeah, that's him. He's a crazy Primarch. He looks like he'll have that. So I think I like the other helm better. Of course you would. Of course you would. I love the gray color of the Space Wolves. Yeah, dude. I love the matte, the bluish gray, and then the matte black really pops with that. Do you think the older figures like Calder will get a redo? I would love it if they did. But the only way I see that happening is if Games Workshop puts out a new mini, and then that's going to be their reason for putting a new one out. So he does look a bit dumpy or short compared to the other Terminators. Yeah, I agree. You can buy some of the extensions for the legs, which I'm going to do in a future video, and I'll show that stuff up. So Sismund is taller than... What's up, Gavesburger? Thank you for jumping in, dude. I appreciate it, especially on what is tonight? Tuesday night. Jeez. Looks like the belt's unbuckled at the gold pin, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out in a second. Green Lantern Joe was for the Deathsworn of the thing. Yeah, I don't know what that green thing is for. Again, is that it makes sense if he's a Green Lantern Corps, right? I don't know what the hell this thing is used for. Is that his recharger for his ring? Does he have a Green Lantern ring on his hand? Doesn't have a Green Lantern ring. Alright, so yeah, let's take a look at this really quick, because oh yeah, you're right, actually. Look at you. So it unbuckles. Wow. And then this piece just comes right off. And then bing bang boom. He's got his shield he can hold now. Very cool. Very nice. I'm going to keep it on his back because I think that's really cool. And then he'll be able to hold his bolter and his pistol. I actually really like the fact that this has like a buckle on it and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll just put this piece back on here. And then we're going to throw this on his back. And then he'll look like Captain America again. Very cool. But this looks awesome. I appreciate the attention to detail with this little leather belt on here. This is cool. I really like this. Alright, so again, we were showing his axe. His power axe is pretty monstrous. And then on the end, we get like a wolf insignia for the wood. I don't know if that's... Yeah, this is supposed to be all wood. All one piece for his handle here. It's a cool looking axe, though. Very nice. Very nice. See, if this was a Custodes axe, it would have a bolter on the end of here. But it's not a Custodes, so he doesn't have a bolter. Alright, so then final piece that he has is his bolter. And he's got it adorned with some wolf teeth. And let's see if the magazine comes out on this one. And magazine also comes out on that. Cool. Very nice. Very nicely put together. Again, if I used to collect the G.I. Joe Classified line, I do still. And these are like, this is one of the big draws for me with between those. These accessories absolutely destroy anything that comes out with that line. Granted, I know it's a pretty big price difference, but even the Deathsworn is like a $20-$25 figure, and the amount of stuff that's on him, as well as his accessories and the paint apps and everything, just blow anything that Hasbro's put out away. So, but these are pretty cool. All right, let's throw his bolter pistol in his hand. I want to get these next to Russ and see how he's... Oh man, I love these hands. I am very appreciative of the fact that these hands are so malleable compared to some of the original figures. I literally would sit here and fight for like 10 minutes on some of the figures when I was doing like a review and I was taping it. And I was like, man, I am never doing these live. So one of the reasons, thank you, JOYTOY, why I'm doing these live reviews is because you fixed the hands. So I don't have to stand here and fight with them or stick my figure underneath a heat lamp for 5 minutes while I wait for the review, or I put the review on pause and wait, because that would never fly live. So very cool. Let's put his back on here, and he's all suited up. Very cool, dude. He's actually really cool looking. I really enjoy the this gray, this dark, well, light grayish blue of this armor. Very cool. It's not like the 30K figures, which essentially looks like these Space Wolves, to me, essentially are a welfare version of the Ultramarine. Sorry if I offended anybody, but that's how that they look to me. So, because the blue is so close to what the Ultramarines are, there really isn't anything to signify between the two. You could easily mistake something from the Space Wolves in 40K as an Ultramarine figure or an Ultramarine piece. So here's the two figures. Very cool. And then we got his obligatory hands. Throw these over to the side. And we're going to take a look finally at these two, and then we'll put them with Russ. Very cool. Actually, you know what? I do want to do a quick comparison with him and another 30K Praetor. Here we go. This is the dude I had to glue his front piece. Let's see if it's still holding. I think it is. Oh my god, this guy's a monster-sized axe. But he's a really cool figure. My only problem with him was his belt piece right here, which I had to glue on. And it seems like it's staying on there pretty good. But, I mean, that would be easily the most comparable figure. Oh no, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. It was this piece. It was the belt piece. I had to glue this onto here. So it looks like it's staying so far. But yeah, he's a cool figure. A little bit loose at some of his pieces that are sitting on him. But he's got the MK6 helm. He's got the beaky helm. But this figure feels more solid in my hand. He actually, well, he has a shield on too. But this feels a little more solid than this figure does. Especially because I know the things that I've had to do to fix him. So, but yeah, very cool. I would definitely, out of these two figures, would I give Russ, I think, a 9. I definitely would give these a solid 8 for both of these figures. And the Deathsworn, I really like, dude. I'm going to pick up all of the rest of the Deathsworn after this. Definitely going to put an order in. I just put an order in last night. I'm going to pick up those Sigmar figures because I want to try. I do want to get them and do a quick review and just see how they feel. And I did like some of the audiobook, Blackthorn or Black. I forget what the girl's name is, but I did listen to that and that was pretty cool. Man, I do like these Deathsworn though. Very cool. I do like their aesthetic a lot. It's very cool. I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm such a big Punisher fan. my Wraith logo is a skull essentially. I think that this is that's probably one of the reasons why I like these so much. So let's get the Deathsworn next to Russ, and I think Russ is going to look awesome with having a whole contingent of Deathsworn around him. And we got his one Praetor here, and these look cool. Look how tiny those Deathsworn are with Russ. Very cool. Very cool. So I am very happy. Again, this is my original plan, is just to get Russ with these two figures. But because I like him so much, and again, he's got that Cool Toys helm on there. And we'll get him closer to the camera with the Deathsworn. But my original plan was just to get Russ with just two figures. But these Deathsworn are so cool, dude. And I do like Russ now. And definitely one of my top Primarchs I've gotten. Well, of the ones I've opened. So, and then here we go. And then you can see how close the coloring is between Russ and the Praetor. And we go to the back. Both of them got their shields on their back. Very cool. Very, very cool. Again, if you didn't hear me before, Russ is now my desk figure. So he's going to be sitting there hanging out, and maybe I'll just have some of the Space Wolves from 30K hanging out as well. So, all right, so that is my review of the Praetor Space Wolf of Horus Heresy, as well as the Deathsworn. And I think there's 5 more of them. We'll jump over to the camera in a second here. I'll switch over, but yeah, I really enjoy these figures. All the 30K figures, anytime I've opened them up, I've loved them. Everything from all the Blood Angels to the Sons of Horus to now the all the Space Wolves. And what's funny is the Space Wolves I have a vendetta against because I'm a Grey Knight fan, and if you've listened to or read the book, The Emperor's Gift, you know why. You know why. So, alright, let's see what's going on with chat, and then we'll jump over to full screen just a second. So, so Lone, what are you saying? I know what I like, leave me alone. You should get the helm that I have. You're gonna get the tiny little smoochy helm. Alright, so also good news, I reached 180 subs. Very cool. Keep cranking out those short stews. Those are awesome. Almost 200. Very cool. Alphyrus is better. He can actually holster his weapon. 10 and 10. Recommend. Did you get Alphyrus already? I thought you said that Alphyrus was, or is that somebody else? Hold on. No, you didn't get your Alphyrus yet. All right, so you're getting him June 3rd. I think we might get them at the same time. So, all right, let me switch over to full screen. I will be right back, guys. Alright, and we are back. Alphyrus has a holstered weapon on the images. Has a weapon holster on the images. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Russ... grab him. I'm actually surprised that Russ doesn't have that, because you could easily hide a holster in his back. And you know what? There's a holster back there. One of my pet peeves. It's literally just a solid piece of plastic. And but he's got a lot of stuff on him. He's got all his bladed weapons holstered on him. He's got his knife. He's got his axe on his back, or a little hatchet axe. And then he's holding his massive double-bladed axe. By the way, you're going to kill yourself if you actually wield something like that. And then he's got his Frostmourne like weapon here. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Russ came first before Arthas, I would assume, and that's why he's got, and then someone bit off of his design from his sword from Blizzard for Arthas. So pretty cool. And then we'll grab the two figures we just reviewed, and we got the Praetor, who looks pretty awesome. Yeah, dude, very cool. I'm very happy with these figures. I feel like I've been saying that a lot. But yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. I like the fact that he can holster a shield on his power pack. Very nice. And then we got the one figure that I'm going to buy a ton more. And these are tinier, these are smaller figures. So I don't feel like I'm breaking my rule too bad with the, with buying only 2 of the chapter that I'm not collecting. Because technically I'm still not collecting the Space Wolves, just the 30k Space Wolves, right? That's an easy way to go about it. I'm not cheating myself. So these are cool. I am definitely gonna order more of these figures. Yeah, we're definitely gonna pick up more of these Deathsworn. I think a pack of the Deathsworn with Russ and then the Praetor is gonna look badass on in my display when I finish getting it set up in about a month and a half. I'll have that whole area set up. I have a humongous wall all painted up and ready to go, and I have these clear displays to be able to slot it in there. I used to have my Masters of the Universe Classic, so He-Man figures, which came out, I think in 2008 they started. I had like 200 of those figures on there, and those are 7 to 8 inch figures. So I should easily be able to get all of my JOYTOY figures on there. Deathsworn looks awesome, dude. I really like him. I would recommend highly if you guys want to grab him. So let's see what's going on here. Alphyrus has a weapon holster on the images. So holster at the wolf pelt at his hilt. I really wish Double X is cool until you get cut by Double X. It made golf pretty cool. Yes, it did. So yeah, so that is pretty much it. I am going to, I'm going to do a review. Well, it's going to be a video in process when I start to do the room and I start to display everything, because I have a huge display room all ready to go. I just have stuff in there I have to pull out to get at it, where it's kind of used as a little bit of a storage area right now. So once I pull everything out, I should be able to get to it. I wanted to clean up my garage, a little bit too much information, but I finished cleaning my garage. I put the base together of my shed last weekend. So this upcoming weekend, I'll finish putting up some of the walls. We'll finish up that, and then I should be able to get into my area, and then we'll do like a couple series of videos of me putting that together. So that should be fun. So, all right. That is it. I wanted to give you guys a quick update too. So I already threw up. I'm pretty terrible at this, but I put up some videos in advance so you guys know this week what I'll be doing. So tomorrow night is going to be the next mission in the battle sector, new scenario storyline mode that they have for the sisters, which just came out a couple days ago. Thursday, I'm going to go back to Space Marine 2, the Astartes mod for the PC, because last night I was up till I think 4 o'clock in the morning getting my ass kicked by the oh man, why can't I remember the Tyranid, the boss at the last guy on the exfiltration board. Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, he kicked my ass like a bunch of times last night, so I want revenge. So Thursday night, we're going to do a true solo run again, and I'm going to get my revenge on him. And then I'm thinking for the weekend, I want to play Speed Freaks, which just came out also. And that is essentially a 40k version of Twisted Metal, if you guys know what that game is. It's like all this vehicular combat, so that should be fun. And then this upcoming weekend, I think we're going to open up the Lion. I think that's who we're going to open up. Unless I get Alfurious, then I'll open Alfurious up on this weekend. So, all right, guys, as usual, let me see if I forget this button. I always forget to do this. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Show us your collection room. There are so many games to complete before Elden Ring. Yeah, I feel like I dated myself with saying Twisted Metal. I said that to somebody the other day, and they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, oh man, that was on the PlayStation 1. We played that all the time. My deal with Elden Ring is I beat the normal game a couple years ago when it first came out, and I beat all of the Souls game. Every time a new Souls game comes out, I beat it. But I don't normally play the DLC or the extra content that comes out for each of those games, so I don't think I'm gonna play Elden Ring. Plus, there's so many Warhammer 40k games out. Plus, I'm so into Space Marine 2, so I think I'm gonna stay away from the Elden Ring, and I'll live through you, Lone. You can give me updates, what you think of the game. You should do a review on the game, to be honest with you. Now that you have a YouTube channel, you are required to do a video game review, so that should be your video game review. And then we got Cyber. Finally got around to following you on Instagram. Very cool, dude. I post a lot of the stuff from shorts. I post over to Instagram from YouTube, and then over to TikTok, and then also to X or Twitter. But I do sometimes throw up some stuff there, specifically just on Instagram. So all right, guys, so we're gonna call it there. I am gonna finish up the other side of my short that I just uploaded yesterday. So I did the Iron Warriors for JOYTOY. I gotta finish the rest of the other side of the Iron Warriors, which is the MK3 armor for those power armor, those two figures. So I just have to finish putting that video together, and that should probably go out as a short tomorrow. And then again, tomorrow we have Battle Sector. So, all right, guys. Elden Ring's DLC is one of the greatest DLCs ever. Well, I have not played any of the Elden Ring DLCs. I am going to stay away from that. I'm just going to concentrate on what I've been concentrating on, which is the Warhammer 40k games, or the Warhammer games in general. And again, Lone, I will live through you for Elden Ring, and you now have to do an Elden Ring review, because I'm not going to play the game, and you're already spouting how great the previous DLC is, and I'm going to guess you think that this upcoming DLC is going to be great, which I think it's going to be. I don't think it's not, but now you are required to do a review so I can see it. All right, guys. We're going to call it there. Have a good night, guys. I will be back tomorrow night. And as usual, guys, I'm Wraith. I'm out. Later, guys.